On July 24, 2022, a travel YouTuber named Brendan uploaded a video to his YouTube channel, Brendan Explores. His channel is focused around the van camping life in unknown park-ups in the UK. He regularly uploads stealth camping videos about his experiences in the spots he camps in, what he eats, and also the type of equipment he uses. In the video I'm about to show you, he takes his viewers with him to Lake Vyrnwy for an overnight van camping trip. Throughout most of the video, his camping trip goes as planned with nothing concerning. When Brendan arrives at his location, he shows us the views of his camping spot, prepares his dinner, and eventually gets his van ready for the overnight stay. As soon as it gets dark and he shuts off his camera and lights and falls asleep, this is where things start to take a turn. Now, it's important to note that in the beginning of the video, he explains that there is a sign that tells everyone there's no overnight camping allowed in certain spots, but he did find a spot hidden away to park his van. Even though there is this sign, it's hard to imagine someone going out of their way just to tell someone they can't be there in the middle of the night. A few hours later, after falling asleep, Brendan wakes up to someone walking around and strange knocking on his van.
I can see headlights. Who the was that?
When he pulls out his camera to record, he mentions that he can see headlights not too far from where he is. If it was someone actually patrolling the area, you would think that they would use their voice as well to tell Brendan that he can't be there. But the only thing he hears are footsteps and knocks. Shaken up from the incident, he decides to stay awake for a little while, just in case whoever it was decides to come back. When he wakes up in the morning, Brendan gives his viewers an update about what happened. It turns out that whoever it was did come back and did so a few hours later, but didn't actually get out of their car this time. This time they just sat there and shined their headlights directly toward his van again. After they left, Brendan did eventually fall back asleep and moved on to his next adventure. In 2022, YouTuber Grizzly Gaz camped in a spot that is located deep in a valley around West Yorkshire with no one else around. He mentioned that he found the specific location to camp 4 years ago and has camped in it plenty of times without incident. Grizzly's channel is focused on taking his viewers along with him and his French bulldog Fendi on adventures and isolated camping trips in the middle of nowhere. As soon as he gets to his location, he notices trash, a saw, and an entire burned mattress. Rather than be spooked, he brushed it off as possibly some other people could have found this spot and camped just before him. After clearing the spot, it starts to rain, and he began to set up his camp for him and Fendi. Just after the 9-minute mark, when he is building a fire for dinner, he starts to hear what sounds like thick branches snapping behind him.
Get some of this oak in the bottom. I'm not going to have a massive fire tonight because I just want to cook my food. What the fuck was that?
Brushing it off, he continued his video and explains what else he needs to do for the night. A couple of minutes later, he starts to hear a strange sound, something that he can't figure out. At this point, it doesn't even sound like branches. It sounds like something you wouldn't hear out in the forest. After a while, the strange noises stop, and he starts to make his dinner. After dinner, he and Fendi go to sleep without any incident. In the middle of the night, he wakes up to someone or something creeping around his tent.
Fendi. What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
During the ordeal, he decides to get out of his tent to see if someone is around, but didn't find anyone. When he got back to his tent, along with sounding like someone or something is walking around his camp, he started to hear strange guttural noises.
What the fuck?
The next day, he gave his viewers an update, still not knowing exactly what or who was with him and Fendi that night. Will's Whereabouts is a YouTube channel dedicated to camping enthusiasts just like himself. Will is a traveler and unexpectedly found the passion to camp in vehicles. In 2021, he went on a stealth camping trip in a place that was local, in an area he was actually familiar with on the countryside of Box Hill. After arriving at his camp location, he shows his viewers his setup in his car and starts to make dinner with one of his friends. He explains how great of a place it can be just for general camping. When showing his camp setup, he mentions how far he is into the forest, indicating to his viewers that there is no one around except for him and the friend. Before getting ready for bed, he reads a book, turns on his heat, and eventually the lights. Everything is going smoothly until a few hours later in the middle of the night when he wakes up to these sounds. The next morning, there was no update to what the screaming actually was or why someone was even screaming in the forest. But it is important to note that upon his arrival at this location, he said there could have been people off in the forest as well, not too far from where he was. Love Sundays is an adventure channel dedicated to adventure enthusiasts just like himself. Back in 2022, he went on an overnight camping trip in his van and had something happen to him in the middle of the night that no van camper ever wants to experience. Just like other camping channels, he shows his viewers what he will be eating for dinner before shutting out the lights for bed. Rather than enjoy his dinner in his van, he takes his viewers on a walk and eventually stops next to an ocean. Throughout the course of the video, he shows the viewers his process of the van camping life, eventually turns on a movie, and gets ready for bed. At this point, it's pitch black out, with no one around. He steps back in the van, locks his doors, and turns off the lights. A few hours later, at around 2 a.m., he hears this.
I just heard something outside.
Not only is someone knocking, but someone is also trying to use the door handles to get into his van. The next morning, he gives his viewers an update about what it could have been, but still not knowing exactly who or why they were trying to get into his van that night.